amiguitos, and welcome to this week's episode of Cooking with Ceja!
It's Cooking with Ceja! Ceja! Cooking with Ceja! Ceja!
We're gonna have some fun with this week's recipe, and it's gonna definitely bring back a lot of nostalgia, thinking back to those horrible birthdays as a kid. Well, no, maybe you had great ones. I just, I did a lot of crying in my birthday. But for us Latino children, we knew as badly as we begged for that sprinkle cake, that confetti cake, that chocolate cake, that marble cake, your cake was most likely going to be tres leches. My dad would always joke the tres leches, de vaca, de chiva, y de burro. The cow, goat, and donkey milk. But that's not what it is. Tres leches is an airy vanilla cake that has been soaked with milk, essentially. So there's a couple different milks at play, and we'll get to see those today. And usually it's served with whipped cream and strawberries. Of course, this being Cooking with Ceja, we're gonna take it up a notch, guys, so that this cake doesn't end up on your face, up your nose, all over the walls, on the floor, which is probably what happened to a lot of us growing up. The hardest part is gonna be our cake, so let's get started on that. Let's get right to it. 3/4 of a cup of flour, and we're also gonna add half a teaspoon of baking powder to this, and we're gonna whisk this up nice and fine. Yeah, girl. We're gonna move on to the other half of our batter. I separated 3 large eggs, and I'm gonna beat the hell out of the whites so they are separated. And let's cream these. Wrong attachment. We're gonna use our whisk attachment to do this, to get all the air beat into this. All right, back to it. All right, we're gonna take a quick break, add 1 tablespoon of sugar, that's plain white sugar, and then whip this until it's nice and stiff. All right, there we are. See, nice and stiff. It sticks to our whisk attachment here. We're gonna go ahead and remove this out and work on the rest of our batter. All right, there we are. See, nice and stiff. It sticks to our whisk attachment here. We're gonna go ahead and remove this out and work on the rest of our batter. Okay, now we switch to the beater attachment. We're gonna add 1/4. Where the hell are you? There we go. We're gonna the butter had a mind of its own, but you add 1/4 cup of butter to our beater, and we're gonna beat the shit out of it too. Now that it's softened, we're gonna add, this is half a cup of sugar. And just beat this until it is nice and incorporated. Let's pick up the speed here. Come on, come on, come on! Now that it's almost like a paste, I'm gonna add my 3 egg yolks. And I'm also gonna add some Mexican vanilla. We're gonna add half a tablespoon of this. And we're just gonna beat this until the eggs are barely incorporated. We don't wanna overbeat the eggs. I can't stress that enough. So just a quick 30 to 45 seconds, and there we are, voila, we have a nice yellow color there from the egg yolk. All right, we're switched back to my whisk attachment. I am taking a strainer here, and we are sifting our flour into our egg and butter and sugar mixture. And we're gonna whisk this together. Do about 1/4 at a time, and then mix it, and then 1/4, and then mix it. And this makes the cake nice and airy and spongy. Oh wait, I like to do this. I like to make it go fast, and then, oh, wait. See, I need 2 hands, hold on. And then up, and then off. Ow! Please use a stand mixer with caution. Okay, here is our mixture. We are now going back to our egg whites, and we're gonna fold them in. The whole reason I sifted the flour and then separated the egg whites, which is not what people usually do, is because it just adds air to our, and air is important because it's the little spots that trap all the flavor when you crack open a piece of bread or cut into a cake. And if you think about it, it's low cal because air doesn't have any calories. So now I have my egg whites in my egg yolk and butter mixture, and we're just gonna fold this in a couple of times to get it all incorporated. All right, so you fold this quite a bit until you get this nice pale yellow color, and you know your egg whites are nice and incorporated. And then just give it a little slap for good luck there. Here I have a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and I sprayed it with a little non-stick spray. And we're gonna pour our batter on this. It's essentially a cookie sheet, but it's deep. This is important for what we're gonna do with our cake. When I bake or cook, I always have a lot of leftovers and I don't like dealing with that, so I cut this recipe in half. So I'm using half a baker sheet. You can use a full baker sheet and just double the ingredients I've been using and spread it all out almost like a Swiss roll. Let that hang out in the oven at 350 degrees and we will see it in a bit. After about 15 minutes, you're gonna have this nice spongy cake. It's still warm, so we're gonna take a toothpick and just poke the shit out of it. Let out all your aggression there, just don't poke yourself. So go all up and down the cake, and then we're gonna let it cool. Okay, so for the tres leches that make this tres leches cake, we're gonna do 3/4 of a cup of evaporated milk, another 3/4 of a cup of condensed milk. Traditionally, you would also use whole milk. However, I'm using rice milk today. One, because I'm totally lactose intolerant, so I shouldn't even be having the other two. But also, you can use coconut milk or rice milk to kind of cut the sweetness. And I think it adds a nice nutty flavor. To that, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of Mexican vanilla. Let's mix this up. Okay, we're going to take our milk mixture and pour it over the top of our cake here. And it's going to absorb on the cake. I'm going to stick this in the fridge for a few hours. I'm actually going to leave it overnight and just let the cake soak all of this up. So we take our milk mixture and we're just going to pour it over the top of the cake, letting it absorb into it. And I'm actually going to leave this in the refrigerator overnight and just let it all soak up and moisten. My cake has been in the refrigerator overnight, almost 16 hours now, so we're going to move on to steps 2 and 3. And finish assembling this bad boy today. We're gonna make a classic strawberry filling. This is 1 cup of finely chopped strawberries. We're gonna add 2 teaspoons of cornstarch and 1/4 of a cup of white sugar. Incorporate all your ingredients, so your strawberry, white sugar, cornstarch. Let this cook on medium heat till it all starts to bubble and boil over. While that boils, I'm gonna work on a simple whipped cream frosting. We're going to add 1/2 pint of heavy whipped cream, 1 teaspoon of Mexican vanilla. Oh, I let that splash a little bit, but just 1 teaspoon will do it. And to cut some calories, instead of confectioner's sugar, we're using a 1/4 cup of pure stevia. Now we're just going to whip this bitch. Now you're going to add another 1/4 cup of confectioner's sugar and whip it up a little bit more. I did it today. Okay, cool. There it is. There is our whipped cream frosting right there. All right, coming back to our strawberry filling, it has now thickened and boiled. We stirred it for a little bit. And see that cornstarch, what it does is it just thickens with your sugar and strawberry. Now you have a filling, almost like a jam. Let this cool down at room temperature before we assemble. I'm actually going to stick it in the fridge. Why the hell not? My filling's chilled. My cake is chilled. My frosting is ready, guys. All that's left to do is assemble. Now, for those of you that know me, I hate Pinterest. I know it seems like, oh, you're kind of crafty. Like, you should like Pinterest. No, I'm very jaded about it. Never like learned how to navigate it properly or log in. And then like everybody was like throwing the same damn gender reveal looking party, baby shower, wedding, bridal party looking thing. I don't like Pinterest. However, today I'm putting the cake in a mason jar. How much more damn Pinteresty does it get? But I will say the idea actually came because I was going to make a strawberry lemonade cake. And I was like, well, they always serve strawberry lemonades in a mason jar. That didn't happen. It might for a future episode. Stay tuned. But let's assemble our cake today. To assemble this, I started with my sheet of cake and I took a cookie cutter and just stamped out my circles here. This fits perfectly inside. In desperate times, you can use the mason jar lid, but it'll be a little bigger. So you got to squeeze it in. Now I'm going to add my first layer. So we're going to add a little bit of our filling. I have the strawberry, which you saw, and I also made a pineapple filling because I used to love pineapple filling in my tres leches cake. Sorry, I'm weird, and I like it on pizza, and I don't care. Okay, we add some whipped cream over the top, and then our next layer of cake goes on in. You got to kind of tilt it a little bit because it suctions it. I put some more of my filling over the top, and then, just to get a little nice presentation, I filled my pastry bag with whipped cream, but you could easily grab a can of ready whip and, cream all over this. Ay, mira como que me quedaron bonitos, ¿verdad? I do want to bring something to your attention. Usually tres leches cake is really thick and all the moisture just kind of seeps down to the bottom. But because we did a thinner, spongier cake, you see, look, you can hear the wetness of it. All right, let's give it a taste. Legit just dissolves, like you just suction it. It's so wet and creamy. My favorite. This is definitely not the tres leches cake from your childhood. And if they try to dunk your face in the cup, it'll cut up your face, and that's assault. So they won't do it. You're welcome. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Cooking with Ceja. I will see you very soon with another delicious recipe.
It's Cooking with Ceja.